This episode of Straight to the Point is brought to you by Henson and Kitchen Mortuary right there in Barbersville.
Hey guys, Cledus Judd here, and want to welcome everybody to the, I guess you could say, the first edition of Straight to the Point, a video podcast that we're doing, of course, in conjunction with Recovery Point. And today is kind of just an introductory thing to let people get to know me a little bit. I'll be hosting this, and what you see right here beside me is an empty chair. And what you're going to see in the coming episodes are people that are going to sit in this chair that's not only changing my life, but has the potential to change your life, and in the process, change their life as well. I've been working with Recovery Point now going on a couple of weeks, and I can tell you that it has so far has been one of the most rewarding things that I have done in my, I would almost say in my adult life for sure, and especially in my career. It's an honor to be able to I kind of told somebody the other day, it's kind of an honor to be able to be on the inside because I would never have known what it was like just looking, just like most of you that are going to watch this video podcast. If you're not, any of your lives have not been affected by addiction, you're one of the lucky ones. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of people out there whose life themselves or somebody that they know, a relative, a friend, that's not been affected by the dreaded word addiction. But being able to be on the inside, I'm able to walk around and meet these people, to shake their hand. I've shook more shaking hands in the last week than you can imagine. Some hands you shake, they're strong and confident, and other hands you shake, you got to wonder if they're going to make it through the night. I actually saw a guy the other day come into Recovery Point on his first day. I was sitting in the lobby and I was talking to some guys, and I don't know that I'll ever forget, that young man was probably in his mid-20s. Somebody had brought him in. I don't know if it was a friend, court appointed, I don't know, but the gentleman walked in, and I don't know that I'd ever seen the amount of fear in a young kid's face as I saw in his eyes. Now, you're walking into a building where there's probably 90 or 100 people in there that are going through the same thing you are, but you don't know any of them. You don't know what to expect. You don't know what they're going to say. You don't know how they're going to act. And that young man's eyes will stay with me for a long time. And but one thing I knew after seeing that gentleman walking up that ramp, coming in that front door, that he was in the right place. He was in the right place to get help. He was in the right place to be loved on, appreciated, and a key word that they use there is also being held accountable for his actions. And I was walking around a few days ago shaking hands with a lot of people and trying to get to know them on a first-name basis. And I shook one gentleman's hand and I said, "How you doing today?" And I'll never forget, he looked at me and he said, "Not bad for facing life in prison." And I thought, well, Lord, what do I say to that? "Oh, don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Oh, you got this." I was at a loss for words because it's the first time in my life I'd ever met a man facing life in prison. And I just simply said, "I'm here if you need me." And so are these other 80 or 90 people sitting in here. And the man looked at me and said, "God bless you. I may take you up on that." And I hope he does. My heart hurts for the addicted. I'm one of them. I'm celebrating September the 4th, 2022. If I make it to then, 18 years of being clean. And when I tell my story of my abuse and my addiction to these 150, 200, 300 people that we have here at Recovery Point, man, I feel so much like a first grader, because my story don't touch the pain and the suffering that a lot of these people been through. I almost feel like I'm not worthy to share my story to these people. But I hope that my heart will help heal them, will help them, because I do care about them. I always say that the addicted are the forgotten ones. They're brushed off in society. It's easy to say, hell, they should have never done it to start with. If you never, touch a hot, if you know a stove's hot, don't touch it. Sometimes that curiosity kills the cat, and you touch the stove anyway. And that's the stories that I want to tell. I don't have much sympathy for people that say, shouldn't have done it, shouldn't have done this. Those same people will sit at home and bet their life savings on football games every weekend, but they'll place judgment on the addicted because it's drug induced. But they don't think gambling is an addiction. That person sitting there going, oh, they should have never done heroin to start with, yet they weigh 450 pounds and eat 10 or 12 times a day and can't go without, hamburgers and milkshakes, but yet they'll place blame on the addicted, thinking that they're not one. Addiction is something that you don't want to do anymore that you keep doing. I don't care if it's gambling, pornography, drugs, alcohol, whatever it is. It's something that you don't want to do anymore, but you can't help but continue to do. And that's why we want to do these podcasts, these video podcasts. I want to get to know these people, and I want you to get to know them. I want you to hear their story. I want you to hear they had a life before addiction. I met a guy that was going to play football at Ohio State, but because of addiction, it never happened. I met a guy yesterday who played semi-pro football. Addiction got him and cost him everything. The stories that you're going to hear are tough to sit through and listen, but the stories need to be told, because just like me, I hope that the next man or woman that sits in this chair beside me will share a story that you can relate to, and you can go, you know what? If Mary can do that, if she can put that one foot in front of the other and make that effort and make that attempt to get clean and sober after what this young lady's been through, then maybe I need to call somebody and get help. And that's what drives and motivates me to do it. Look, I'm not a very smart person. I ain't very good at taking tests. I ain't the best looking host you'll ever see, but you won't find anybody that'll sit in this chair and love these people that are sitting in this chair as much as I will, as much as these directors at Recovery Point, as much as these residents at Recovery Point. I'm privileged to be a part of their life. When I walk in the mornings and greet them, and get to say hey to them, they hug your neck, they shake your hand, they fist bump you, and it makes me feel like I'm doing something worthy with my life. Money's not going to get me into the gates of heaven. Notoriety's not going to get me into the gates of heaven. The number of records I've sold in my career are not going to get me in the gates of heaven. But hopefully my compassion for the addicted will get me maybe a third or fourth row seat up there. I usually cry when I do these things, and I used to ask God, I said, why do I always cry when I speak on these subjects? And finally God gave me an answer a few years ago. He said, just real simple, because you care. That's why I'm going to do Straight to the Point video podcast for Recovery Point. It's because I care. And I think you will too once you witness these people. They're going to sit in this chair beside me. Thank y'all for allowing me to do it. Follow us. Hit that follow button on our page, Recovery Point page. It will mean a lot. Every Thursday night for the coming weeks, months, there'll be a new episode, and I'm sure we'll have them on there. If you miss any, you can watch those as well. I know next week we're going to have Seth and Andrew, two pretty high-ups in Recovery Point that went through the system, and wait till you hear their story. The story of Seth is crazy. The story of Andrew, I heard the stories before I got here. This guy's went on to have more degrees than most lawyers. Very inspiring. It ain't all depressing. A lot of it is. But hopefully at the end of the day, these stories will want to motivate you, help people, go out and help the addicted, and hopefully help yourself, because I can tell you right now, they sure helped me. With that being said, thanks for watching the first episode of Straight to the Point, a video podcast for Recovery Center. And as I always say, if you don't get help at Recovery Point, man, just get help somewhere. Thank y'all. Can't wait to do this.